जे सोचे लखवार चुप्पे चुप न होई जे लाए रहा लिवतार भुखिया भुख न उतरी जे बन्ना पूरिया पार सहस स्यानपा लख होता एक न चले ना.
Welcome everyone. Waheguru Khalsa, Waheguru Ki Fateh. So I'd like to invite everyone to the West Midlands Police Sikh Association event, a Punjab Conversation Ghallughara. I want to thank Chief Constable Craig Guilford, who is here, and they'll be coming on shortly. The PCC, Simon Foster, will be coming as well later on. Some of our senior leadership here, thank you for coming. The National Sikh Police Association, some of you are in attendance today. And most importantly, our Sikh Association members, thank you for showing up, thank you for attending the event. So I'm DC Jutla, I'm the lead for events and recruitment with the Sikh Association, and I'm going to be the compere today. Just a few things in terms of housekeeping. I've not been told of any fire drills taking place today. If there is a fire alarm, then we need to exit through these doors and we need to go towards the back, and there's a little entrance there that will take us through to the Cannon Hill Park, so we just wait around there. That's the reason why we're doing signing up today, because we need to make sure we've got everyone accounted for. So if you haven't already signed up, please do so in the first break. So toilets are situated on the left for men and women, so just please use them and get up when you need to. Please could you just put your phones on silent. That was a good example there of someone's phone on.
Wasn't mine.
There are tea, coffee and juice at the back, so when you guys do get thirsty, please help yourselves. And later on there will be a lunch at 1 o'clock, and there'll be a chance to network with some of our partners here today. We've got a few guest speakers today as well. We want to thank them for sharing their time, giving us their knowledge. There are some stuff that they're going to touch on that will be quite significant things in history. So I know it will affect quite a few people. We've placed some papers and pens on the tables, so please do write down some questions if you have any towards the end, because there will be a short Q&A panel for the speakers. So I'd like to start the event off. I'm just going to quickly run through the timetable of what's going to be happening. I know we're a bit delayed with the timetable, about 5-10 minutes out, so please don't worry too much about that. That is the run of the day. So there will be a break in between, so please, if you guys have any questions to our senior staff, then just please come and speak to us as we go along. So to start it off, I'd like to invite Inspector Jas Parhill, who's the chair of the West Midlands Police Sikh Association, to open up the event. Thank you.
Waheguru Khalsa, Waheguru Ki Fateh. Thank you to our members and distinguished guests for attending and supporting us. It's an honour to host you all at Tally Ho today. It really is, and it means a lot. I know it's looking a little bit empty, but that's because we've got 160 seats, but our invite list is only about 100 max. So thank you for moving forward as well. Now, this has taken some planning, and I'm grateful to my team, especially Jagpreet Singh Jutla, which is our Jag here. She doesn't like to be in the limelight though, for rising to the challenge and putting the event together. It's not easy. A little bit about myself. I am Jasdeep Singh Parhill. I'm currently the chair of the West Midlands Police Sikh Association. I'm also an inspector for Birmingham as part of my day job, which is managing teams to deliver response policing to those that need us in their time of need. And I've been with West Midlands Police for about just over 17 years, so a little bit of experience. Most of you will know the previous chairs and executive team within our workplace and community. Firstly, and most importantly, I want to express that there's been no wrestling or asking of anyone to gain control of the association. There was no fighting. It was an extremely smooth process, so that thank you to our previous committee. Cam, Harvey, thank you. Now, from its inception, some 11 years ago, at the hands of great individuals such as Ekbinder Kaur, Sukhi Chauhan, Cam Samra and Harvey Wright, along with other founders, we've grown from strength to strength. I recall this being part of my journey, how I started to get involved with the association, having some great interactions and support from other Sikh officers within West Midlands Police. My journey to being a Dastar-wearing officer is also credited to the great people I came across along the way, and now look at me. I'll show you the before photograph as well. I am the chair, which, who'd have thought that? I didn't, especially when I started. Never in a million years. But you know what? Representation is extremely important, and that's the key. This is one of the main things that I've learned. Our history and culture is extremely rich with a tapestry of bravery, great deeds and selflessness, to name a few. This is all that we want to pass on to not only our members within West Midlands Police, but importantly within our community. If we do not represent, then who will? And it is a simple question. We will also not have a seat at the table where all the real decisions are being made. This does not mean that we have to sell ourselves out or compromise our ethics. Far from it. It means we support those that are trying their best to be their best. And that is really, really important. I see that there is a reluctance, for example, to join the police. This is holding us back in the bigger scheme of things. How can we represent with a handful and accept others to learn from our culture or be sensitive to it? Simple question. How can we be representative within the ranks of West Midlands Police? One thing I can assure you is that we are trying to get promotion because representation matters. This is not just for selfish gains, and no, we're not setting out to make these gains either. It's difficult but extremely important to do so. Our force and association strategy is aligned to bringing about these improvements, and that's there to help the community as well, as a whole. Our community needs to support us and come with us on this journey, because this will inevitably serve those that need us and mostly open up new channels to work together. Let's strengthen our Sikh community and get a seat at all the tables that matter and where we are absent. This can only be done through support and unity, and I applaud you for that. Please, if you have any questions throughout, write them on the paper that's been provided and on the tables, and we're going to be having a Q&A panel afterwards. Just ask those questions. It's important. If you don't ask the question, you're never going to know. It is that simple. Now for the association. What is Jas Parhill doing different to anyone else? Or is he here just for the title? I'm not here for the title. Firstly, I want to thank those that entrusted me to be effective and rejuvenate the association. As you all may be aware, we had a national association which is heavily invested in by West Midlands police officers. Thanks to the Chief as well for helping us with that. This has led to West Midlands Police Association not receiving the attention it deserved for our members and local community. Well, this had to change. The mission for us is to educate and support officers and staff while building bridges between the police and Sikh community we serve. That's what the mission we're going to be running with. The association has been taken down to its very bones and rebuilt with a stronger foundation, ensuring key areas of responsibility, structure and governance being put in place. This, in my eyes, is vital to creating a sustainable future well beyond those present today. We have secure digital membership to understand and support our people, so we can really get into what our people are about within the organisation. We've got welfare support for our women in policing and violence against women and girls, recruitment, events such as this one, Gurdwara support, and promotional lateral progression support as well for our internal members. This will not only enhance the support our organisation and community through engagement via social media events and video media, which will also be coming soon. So as you can see, we've got cameras around. Please do give an interview, because all that will form part of what we're trying to achieve, and it's that wider opening understanding within the community. I have a great team surrounding me. As you can see on the screen, the structure is pretty simple. Our Vice Chair is Superintendent Amandeep Singh Sanghera, who's just sitting there. He's put his hand up. We've got our Secretary, who's Harrai Singh Sokhi. He's over here. There he is. Treasurer, Hajinder Singh Chima. Can't miss him. Everyone knows him. Lead for media, which is myself. Lead for welfare support, again, is Haj Chima. Lead for women in policing and violence against women and girls is Kirandeep Kaur Johal. She's just there. Lead for events and recruitment, Jagpreet Singh Jutla, who you've met. Lead for Gurdwara support, surgery team, learning and development is Ranbir Singh Rai. Where is it? There he is. Lead for our social media side as well is Kiran. And lead for promotion lateral progression support is, again, Mr. Sanghera, who I've introduced. As you can see, there are names that are repeated with more than one job role. This is not by design, but who have been vetted to be the best fit for the roles within West Midlands Police and who can dedicate their time. These are extremely passionate individuals who wish to give up their own free time as server, away from family and friends, taking on extra work on top of their busy life. They expect no thanks or benefits at any time, and at times, they may not be thought of as highly because of the work they're trying to do. But they have the strength to do the right thing and want to see our internal West Midlands Police and wider West Midlands community get the support and justice they deserve. And I thank them for this. I really do. I want to also thank all the internal members who's not been named, but who have chosen to give what precious time they can to spare the support, these driven individuals in supporting the different work streams. So just because we've got the heads here, we have got other individuals from our membership who are supporting us in being able to do what we can. And that's really important as well, the unsung heroes. As more staff feel confident in us, I'm sure membership will grow and more will come forward to take a lead to help share the work. And we really welcome this with open arms. So those that feel that they can give more or want to be part of our exec team, put your names forward. As a community, please speak to us. And this is to most of you that's sitting here at the front, so that we can elevate our people to greater things. It's the time to do that. It really is. Well, that's a lot of talking from me. So before I finish for now, I want to thank our guest speakers for taking time out from their busy schedule to deliver what I know will be an amazing insight to help educate us. Thank you to Basics of Sikhi, P6 Academy will be here, Sardar Rajit Singh and Dr. Chima as well. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing and spending your time with us. I want to say a few words before introducing our Chief Constable as well, who's took the time out to come here. I think you just come straight from home, Nottingham. Thank you. Our Chief, Mr. Guildford, inherited a force that needed a shake-up. It really did. This has been delivered in a brave and bold way. We have new innovative ways of working, restructured to provide a better service to our community within West Midlands, and all within quite a short span of time. I found it to be a value-driven, which is key, and someone who does not play to the politics, but is straight down the line, always striving to do the right thing, even in the most difficult of times. He supports the associations by giving us a platform and sees value in the work that we do. Importantly, he understands representation and that it matters. Without further ado, can I please call upon Chief Constable Guildford? Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tally Ho. Welcome to colleagues, but also welcome to members of the community who have joined us this morning. So after that introduction, I just really wanted to say a few words, and despite everybody's busy schedule, I wanted to be here this morning, and I really wanted to listen to the inputs, and it's really with regards to the inputs that I want to focus on. So very often in the police, we can be in a position whereby we think we're doing the right thing for the right reasons, because often that's based on our values. And in doing so, we can unconsciously, at times, fall into a predicament whereby our values are at odds with a situation which is in front of us. And the power of education enables us to overcome some of those challenges and difficulties. So it's really important from my perspective as Chief that this morning's session is digested by all the officers who are in the room, but also that I send you a message which is I want the learning to be distributed across the organisation. because I know what you're going to be talking about this morning, and the subject is one which I think has often been, let's say, swept under the carpet somewhat in modern times, but it's clearly one which has an enduring impact upon lots of members of the community that we serve. And remember, we serve everyone without fear or favour. So from my perspective personally, it's a really good learning opportunity, and I'd like to say thank you to the speakers that are going to be doing the inputs this morning. So moving on in terms of the association, it wouldn't be right to mark this occasion without forgetting why we're here and whose foundations we are built upon, let's say. And certainly Harvey, who I know is in the room, has done some fantastic work in getting us to the position that we're at. And I think you will be impressed with the efforts that have gone into today, but also that you'll help us develop, you'll help us build, and you'll help us succeed in the future from that position of fortunate retirement, let's say. And I know you'll be supporting us from afar, but on occasions you'll be very close to what's going on. So the third point that I want to make this morning, and I am very conscious of your timings, is that when we talk about society, and especially when we talk about things that impact on certain members of a community, we have to ensure that we can listen as the police service. And I've mentioned the power of education, but I think the power of listening is absolutely key. And when we do listen, there is a distinction between being an active listener and a passive listener. And many large organisations, in my opinion, are good at being passive listeners. If we are to succeed in the future and to truly serve every member of the community, we have to be active listeners. And that means we have to listen carefully and think before responding. And for the police service of today, that's quite a salutary note. So I would conclude by saying thank you to everybody for attending this morning. In particular, thanks to those members of the community who are going to impart some very important knowledge. And I say to all my colleagues in the room, particularly as being a member of a staff association myself, thank you for the time that you've put into this personally, and the time that you will be taking personally to help mould the organisation to best serve the organisation, but most importantly, to best serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for attending, and thank you for your kind words. So we're just going to bring up the first speaker now, Baljeet Singh from Basics of Sikhi. They'll be speaking to us about our fifth Guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji. So Basics of Sikhi, if you don't know them, they work off the key statement, arm yourself with knowledge. By taking the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji and experiencing them for ourselves, they're on a mission to just share their experience with everyone and the experience of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They invest their time into educating everyone about Sikhi, whether that be face-to-face or through social media platforms, but they do contribute towards the universal truth being shared far and wide. Baljeet Singh has been with Basics of Sikhi for a long time, and we're very grateful for them to come and speak to us today. Okay, thank you. I'll just turn the mic on. Okay, quite quick. What's that? Oh, okay.
Before we start this talk,
Apologies. Got a mic. Can you put it? There you go. Should be okay.
okay, so just before we start this talk, I'd like to start with, just to help myself first, with something called the Mool Mantar, which has been blessed to us by the founder of Sikhi, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and that will just help myself to become more centered, and it might help others as well to be more focused and centered. So those of you that are familiar and aware with the Mool Mantar, please do join in, otherwise just be present to the vibration. Vaheguru Ek Oankar Sat Nam Karta Purakh Nirpao Nirvair Akal Murat Ajuni Sapang Gur Prasad Jap Ad Sach Jugad Sach Happy Sach Nanak Hosi Pi Sach. वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. So I was given the topic to speak about Guru Arjan Dev Ji, who's the fifth Sikh Guru. Guru can be translated to enlightener, somebody that takes us out of darkness, of ignorance, and shows us the light. And when I came here this morning and spoke to Jag, we thought about 3 different parts to Guru Arjan Dev Ji's life. And the first thing that came to my mind, which isn't often spoke about, which is the earlier part of Guru Arjan Dev Ji's life. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji was the first Guru to be born into a Guru household, whether others weren't. So what was his upbringing like, Guru Arjan Dev Ji? And just to make it a bit more engaging, just to make sure that everybody is definitely with us, is it okay if I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, great. So I can test some of your knowledge as well, right? So you can shout some of the answers out if you want. So anybody know what age Guru Arjan Dev Ji were when they received the Guruship? Any idea what age Guru Arjan Dev Ji were when they received the Guruship? Sorry? 9. That was the 6th Guru. So the 5th Guru was 18. Yes. 18 years of age. And just to give you a vision, he was about 6 foot tall. He had the longest beard out of all the Gurus. Very handsome and quite lean and muscular. So as Guru Arjan Dev Ji grew up, he grew up whilst his father, which was the 4th Guru, Guru Ramdas, was establishing a new city. A city which we today are all familiar with, which is Sri Amritsar Sahib. So Amritsar Sahib was a city that was being established whilst Guru Arjan Dev Ji is growing up. And one thing that Guru Arjan Dev Ji took part in was to help the community, because what the 4th Guru did was he would collect funds, which is referred to as dasvand, 10% of everybody's earnings. He would collect this minimum of 10% from the community, from the Sikh community, and what they would do is to establish this city, then bring these funds together and help other people to establish this city, to build their businesses. And I think there's so much that we can take away from something that we could say so passively even for today, of how just to take that as a model to be able to strengthen our communities today as well. We don't often think about that. There might be somebody that is looking to do a course, but they may not have the funds for it. And what the Guru did was to establish these communities, would get together and help strengthen others around them. So this is what Guru Arjan Dev Ji was exposed to. So his life started off filled with service. But when he came to 17, his father sent him away, his Guru Ramdas Ji, and said that you're not to come back until I call for you. And this is a key point of then Guru Arjan Dev Ji's life, because he was away for about a year. And all of us here, throughout our life, what makes us human is that we all experience different emotions. And some of us go through an array of emotions throughout the day, and sometimes we might get stuck on one type of emotion for a longer period of time. And what happens when somebody is connected to that divine energy? There's a few ways that we express that divinity and those emotions. There's a few ways that those emotions get expressed in a healthy way. And within this 1 year period, Guru Arjan Dev Ji used these methods and these expressions. So taught us not to suppress our emotions and gave us healthy ways of how to express those emotions. And what are some of those ways that would you say that come to your mind, a healthy way to be able to express emotions that Guru Arjan Dev Ji did? And let's see if they relate as well. It'd be interesting to see if some of those ways that you can think of right now of when you're experiencing certain emotions, but how do you get them out in a healthy way? What comes to your mind? You look very eager. Beautiful. Writing, singing. So a lot of people know that Sikhs sing. Put your hands up if you know that's a big thing for Sikhs to sing. Okay. Yeah, so that's a huge part of the Sikh faith, is to sing and what we call kirtan, which is the praise of the divine. But before Guru Arjan Dev Ji, in this moment, started to flow and express through means of poetry, the way Guru Arjan Dev Ji expressed first was through art. And many people don't know of that. So the first thing that's recorded in our history that Guru Arjan Dev Ji drew was a rainbird. Because a rainbird is mentioned throughout Gurbani, and a rainbird captures the feeling of when you're missing someone and you're going through an emotion of longing. Has anybody here experienced missing somebody or longing for something? Everyone, right? It's a relatable experience, emotion, isn't it? So Guru Arjan Dev Ji first started to express through art and sent that then as a message across to his father, to Amritsar. And his father knew exactly what he meant. He knew that he's saying, you still haven't called for me to come back. It's been a while and I'm longing to be with you and see you. But again, brought forward to us this expression through art. So who's a bit of an artist here? Anybody express their emotions through art? Any artists? Oh, one artist in the house. There's two. I do a bit of, I dabble in a bit of art. It's not my main thing, but something I definitely do try every so often. Then the second thing, that instead of suppressing those emotions, Guru Arjan Dev Ji then started to express through poetry. And they started to write letters. And by the way, if you're thinking, what did his father say or reply to that? The painting of the rainbird. Because Guru Arjan Dev Ji is saying, I miss you, when are you going to call me back? Does anybody know what their father, Guru Ramdas Ji, did in return? Before that, so Guru Ramdas Ji drew a picture back. So they communicated through art. So maybe if you're struggling to communicate something to a colleague or to your partner, to your wife or your husband, maybe draw them a picture. It might work if you just can't get your words out. Guru Ram Das Ji drew a cloud to say, look, without the rain, saying you have to wait a little bit longer. You have to go through that experience of longing for a bit longer. But then the second thing was poetry. But once that poetry started for Guru Arjan Dev Ji, he contributed then the most compositions and different poetic measures to the entire compilation of Guru Granth Sahib Ji that we have today. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji then went on, the history is long, you can find online. I've gone through the history of Guru Arjan Dev Ji on our channel Basics of Sikhi over 3 hours. So it's in 3 parts, probably longer than 3 hours. So I'm trying to capture this in about 20 minutes. But then Guru Arjan Dev Ji went on to another form of expression from poetry, and then captured, so all of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, so the Bani, so the word, the divine word that connects us back to our soul, is not divided in chapters. So you've got the Bible, you've got the Quran, and all of these scriptures are divided in chapters, but not Guru Granth Sahib Ji. How is it divided? Yeah, rag, so that means it's captured within musical measure, so that it can help us to sing it in that particular melody to evoke the emotion inside of us. And all of you can relate to that as well, because you'll be feeling different things at different parts of your life, and then you'll listen to music very specific to your mood in that moment of your life. Very strangely, when we're feeling low, even though we probably need lifting up, but we'll probably listen to something sad to make us even sadder. I don't know why we do that, but it's a thing. So Guru Granth Sahib, we're very fortunate that today we've got those very instruments that were established by the Guru himself, the instruments like the Dilruba, which came from Guru Arjan Dev Ji, it's a stringed instrument that help us to evoke those very specific emotions that the Guru felt whilst he was composing and reciting. So I'd introduce you to experience maybe one of the days, if you look out online, to when there's going to be some kirtan happening somewhere at a Gurdwara, and come and experience it. Then Guru Arjan Dev Ji also took part in another form of expression. When his father left this world, he felt for that moment that I've only just come back, you sent me away, I've come back after 1 year. Then his father said, I'm going to be leaving this world, his physical abode. But then his father said, for you to be able to fulfill that void of my physical presence, why don't you express in another form? Poetry you've already got now. We've seen your drawing skills, amazing. What about now architecture? So Guru Arjan, even though Guru Ram Das Ji established the city of Amritsar and established the very place where Sri Harmandir Sahib, which most of you commonly know as the Golden Temple, but which isn't a Sikh term as such. Our term is Harmandir Sahib, and you can see I think it was the one before that, Benji. There you go. So Harmandir Sahib was then what Guru Arjan Dev Ji designed. And his father said, why don't you capture what you feel about me within this architecture? Which then you see a dome at the top, which represented his feeling for his father's turban. And so these are different ways of expression, which I think gets missed, that we can take from our Guru. And this, for me, was key to introduce to everybody. And then what you can see there is, you can see, so on one side, on the left is Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and on the right is somebody called Bhai Gurdas Ji. They then spent 2 years to compile Ad Guru Granth Sahib, so the first ever version of what today we have as Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the complete divine words of the Guru. And this was the first version. Guru Arjan Dev Ji then completed in 1604 and took a lot of detail to attention to make sure everything is accurate. So we've got the Guru's words, and grammar was added to help us to understand the context of the compositions and the different hymns. So that's Guru Arjan Dev Ji's background. Guru Arjan Dev Ji was known to be in this very meditative state and very emotional. Wasn't shy of expressing emotions even through crying, which some people shy away from, especially certain men can. But again, everybody will be different in the way they express themselves. I'm a little bit more emotional, so when I speak about history, I always like to capture the emotions, and I like to bring the well-being part of what the Gurus have done as well. The other thing is, when we say what is within Guru Granth Sahib Ji, one of the first things that come to my mind is the word truth. But truth about what? Truth about this entire creation, truth about us as people, of what is needed for our well-being, to be at our optimum level. And I'll give you an example before I move on. Guru Arjan Dev Ji said, I want to help you to not get caught up in getting into an anxious state. And what's one of the things you can restrain from? And I'm just giving you a little piece of what's captured within Guru Granth Sahib Ji to help our well-being, which studies are proving today, which are catching up with. And one thing the Guru said is that Prathame chod parai ninda. Said the first step for you all, for all of humanity, is to let go of something called nindya, which I define as speaking with an ill intention inaccurately of other people. Yeah, and some people translate that to slander, but just with being more descriptive. And saying, if you take this step, it'll help reduce your anxiety, because there's a link between speaking ill of others and anxiety. There's studies today that are proving this. So that's one of the things that Guru Arjan Dev Ji have given entire humanity to help us with our well-being. But as time went on, a time came of what the main focus point of this talk was, which was Shahidi. And the word Shaheed is often just translated to a martyr, but by Gurdas Ji, who was a great scholar and a scribe of Ad Guru Granth Sahib, defined what a Shaheed is. By Gurdas Ji said, Sabar, Siddiq, Shaheed, Param, Pau, Kovana. Very simply, to translate that, a Shaheed, somebody that sacrifices their life. And they showed what qualities? Sabar. Sabar means endurance. To be able to endure something. To have patience. Siddiq means to have unwavering faith. Sabar, Siddiq, Shaheed. That's what a Shaheed is. That will sacrifice their entire life for the sake of to endure, for patience, for unwavering faith. And then Param Pau Kovana. And they go beyond any sense of fear. So they act fearlessly. And that's what Guru Arjan Dev Ji showed. Because the last part of their life was Guru Arjan Dev Ji, for the Sikh faith, was the first Shaheed. There's a huge, long story behind how that came about, which I can't get into now because of time restraint. But the one thing I will bring forward is, when Guru Arjan Dev Ji were arrested, and there's, like I said, a huge history behind how that came about. The one thing that was demanded of Guru Arjan Dev Ji was to alter and to add, to remove certain things from the Guru's divine word, which we call Bani, to remove some parts of it and to add certain parts to it. And what was being demanded to add was certain praises or themes of certain other faiths, which the Guru didn't agree with. So he stood his ground to say that everything within this can only be the absolute truth. Every word is divine, and every word will help you to connect back to your divinity that is within you. And we all have that divinity and light within us, which is told to us by the Guru. So we all have access to it. And all of Guru Granth Sahib Ji is telling us how to access our own divinity. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji did not accept to alter even one word. So that was one contributing factor amongst many others. And for that reason then, the people that were in rule of that time then sent Guru Arjan Dev Ji to be tortured. And this Guru Arjan Dev Ji, from a very early age that was just flowing with poetry, I've already given you an idea of the energy that Guru Arjan Dev Ji held. Poetry, artwork, architecture and singing, establishing an instrument. So you get an idea. Somebody at constant peace, loving, wanted the best for everyone, wished well for everybody else. Because that's what the definition of love is, when you wish well for everyone. And then a time came, so 5 days of torture was given to Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and some of that torture, what was involved was sitting out, is June, India, so probably about 40 degrees, sitting out in a courtyard under the sun without being given any food or drink. And then there was they were put in a huge cauldron with boiling water, which then caused Guru Arjan Dev Ji's body to blister, and then was made to sit on a hot burning plate. And not only that, but then that followed with heating up sand and then pouring that sand upon the head of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. So the pictures that we often see that are drawn, this shows Guru Arjan Dev Ji in a perfect bodily condition and state. That's not a true depiction of that time. Guru Arjan Dev Ji at that point didn't have their dastar on. Their case, which is their uncut hair, was down, and hot sand were being poured at the top of their head, and their body was filled with blisters. And not only that, the hot burning plate had burnt through their skin, and the skin had then come away and stuck onto the plate. That was the condition of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. But when asked that were they able to afflict suffering upon you, so were they successful because you didn't alter even one divine word, Guru Arjan Dev Ji sang instead to show their inner state. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji showed us, no matter what comes to you in life externally, you can train your inner state to always be in a place where you can be in a place of internal acceptance and peace, no matter what is coming to you externally. And he responded in song. And he sang the words, Tera kiya meetha lage. And what that means is, your doings are sweet to me. And that's very deep. And what he meant by that was, oh divine, if it's the nature of fire to burn, who am I to complain that I'm being burnt by this fire? Because that's the nature of your elements. So I accept that my skin is being burnt sweetly. It was very deep and profound. But he was teaching the people around him of how you can train yourself spiritually through these ways and means of expression to be able to get yourself to that state, which you can then take into your everyday life. But before Guru Arjan Dev Ji left for Lahore, which is where the torture took place under the rule of that time, under the emperor of that time. So this happened during the time of the Emperor Jahangir, who was the son of Akbar, the Emperor Akbar. But before he left, his son, he had a little brief meeting with him. And his son at that time is 11 years old. His name is Guru Har Gobind Sahib, who grew up to be 6'7". And from my research to say that, look, you can see I'm a tiny frame, here Harvey's a bit more, a lot stronger lad than myself. But they say that Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, 50-inch chest across, like huge. They used to have two horses that they swap from every 20 minutes or so from one horse to the other but at the same time, a lot of flexibility, could jump from one horse and then jump onto another, even though he was that huge in build. 11 years old, and all the Sikhs said to Guru Arjan Dev Ji, isn't this now the time where the atrocities and the way they are dealing with saintly people, don't we draw a line now? Isn't it time now to raise the sword? And Guru Arjan Dev Ji said, you're right, yes, it is. And they said, so will you be now adorning a kirpan for the protection of yourself and others? And by the way, the word kirpan comes from it's two words, kirpa and an. An means honor, kirpa means grace. When you protect others' honor and yourself, honor with grace. And grace and with compassion. And compassion means when you see others suffering and you have a wish for them to be free from their suffering. That's what compassion is. Guru Arjan Dev said, yes, it is that time. He said, but not upon this body. On my next body. So when I pass on my light to the next form, he will then adorn that protective sword. So he said, let me see if he's ready. They're called, and it's recorded by somebody called Kesar Singh Chibbar in a book called Bansavli Nama, which is dated back from the 1700s. And he said he called his son, 11 years old, and he said, son, come here. And he gave him a sword. He said, take this sword. He's taken the sword. He's like, put your hand out. Why don't you cut one of your fingers? Don't freak out. He didn't cut one of his fingers. But he didn't flinch. He took the sword, and Guru Arjan Dev Ji said, that's fine. I know you're fearless. I know you're going to stand up for when you need to stand up out of compassion. Because now what they are going to do, they're going to have now crossed those limits. We've showed them that absolute calm, saintly side. And I'm going to show them the limits of endurance and being able to afflict that pain. But then there is also that perfect time of raising. That when it's righteous to stand and come forward, which is as per the 10th Master's words, which now I'll pass on to Badshahi Shevi Academy, right? So which I think is a perfect time for them to now lead from this point of the history. But I really wanted to bring forward to you the different forms of expression and what can be found within the words and the poetry of Guru Arjan Dev Ji that could be helpful for all of humanity to be able to embrace for their well-being. So Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.